Hello, everybody, and welcome back to mufcMPB here on YouTube. My name is Anton, and of course, today is Friday, the 24th of May. One day, one more sleep until the FA Cup final against Manchester City. I believe kickoff is at 3 p.m. tomorrow, of course, at Wembley Stadium. We're going into the game in a bit of a weird situation, as you can see by the title, the thumbnail, and the tweet that's on your screen right now. Today, massive news got leaked that, well, it was first leaked by Jacob Steinberg. He reported that Manchester United have decided to sack Erik ten Hag after the FA Cup final. I'm not going to lie to you guys. When I first saw this, I was upset. Like, deep down, I did want Erik ten Hag to stay. However, even given the crazy circumstances, the injuries that we've had, the problems and player situations that Ten Hag has had to deal with, everything that goes on at Manchester United, look, we finished 8th outside of an automatic European spot with a negative goal difference. After 38 games, Manchester United should never ever be in a position where they finish the season on a negative goal difference. I say all of this, however, Manchester United could go out there tomorrow and win and somewhat rescue their season. It's almost given, well, it's too late now to say it, but it would have, I think, given Erik ten Hag maybe a second chance. I think that's what a lot of people would have been thinking. But of course, with this news, it's not, the club haven't released it. This has just come out today through multiple sources now, basically saying that Erik ten Hag is gone regardless of the result tomorrow. Now, of course, that leaves the door open for a whole other person, but this isn't brand new news, apparently, to Ten Hag. This isn't brand new news to other people at Manchester United. It's very unlikely that Ineos or Sir Jim Ratcliffe were the source of this information. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has vocally expressed his desire to kind of stop the culture that's been, in terms of, we don't need the leaks coming out of the dressing room, and we don't need the leaks coming out of different parts of Manchester United with sensitive information. So it would be weird for something like this to come out from Ineos themselves or Sir Jim Ratcliffe himself a day before the FA Cup final. I think it makes sense. Jan-Åge Fjørtoft here has said, or reported, that Erik ten Hag was told a week before the Arsenal game that he would be sacked at the end of the season. And Jan-Åge Fjørtoft is a very credible source from Germany. And he's also tweeted today that he's known for a while. A lot of people will have known for a while. I would imagine a lot of the more trusted journalists. David Ornstein is somebody that I think might have known Fabrizio Romano as well. But of course, some things are said on the record, some things are said off the record. This is definitely something which I think at that point in time would have been said off the record, meaning it doesn't get reported, it doesn't get published. But with this, I think you kind of have to feel a bit for Ten Hag. Look, all of the situations and the crap he's had to deal with this season, yes, we shouldn't be in a position we are, but I do just feel a bit bad for Ten Hag. He obviously didn't want this to happen. He obviously wants to be the Manchester United manager. He's kept all of this very quiet. This could all not be true, by the way. But if true, he's kept all of this very quiet and he's kept it very professional. So I think whatever side does end up getting him, because he won't be out of a job after the end of June. It won't even take him that long to get a job. But I think he could go to a club like Chelsea. They've just gotten rid of Pochettino. Bayern Munich obviously signed Vincent Kompany now. That was another possible destination for Ten Hag, but he will get hired by a very big club, and he will be able to show us Manchester United fans and all of the other people who've been calling him rubbish and a bald fraud for all this time, that he'll be able to demonstrate once again, like he did at Ajax, what he is capable of and how good of a manager he actually is. So, although I am a bit disappointed, hopefully you'll be joining me in some sort of optimism, because reported by Charlotte Dunker and Hurst, I believe that is, can't remember, Simon Hurst? Let me just double check if it's Simon Hurst, because I do not want to get this. It's Paul Hurst. Kieran McKenna will wait on Manchester United before making a decision on his next move. His preference would be a return to Old Trafford. Kieran McKenna, if those of you who don't know or maybe weren't Manchester United fans back then, Kieran McKenna was an assistant manager at Manchester United. I can't remember for how many years. I think it would have been 4. I want to say 4. It wasn't just with Ollie. He was also assistant, or one of Jose Mourinho's assistants. So he does have experience at Manchester United. Obviously not on the same level, but someone like a Mike Phelan who did eventually come back, because obviously with McKenna and Ollie. I believe Kieran McKenna could come back and do a good job. I don't know if he has the right type of personality to manage Manchester United, because of course managing Manchester United comes with a lot of baggage and things that you have to do and put up with. He's relatively young. I know that might not mean the biggest amount to you, but to me it means that he might be more in tune with more modernized media. He might be more in tune with social media and stuff like that. Even though he might not be on social media doing this and that, stuff might not get to him as much. I think when you have someone who's a little bit younger, especially when it comes to, I think these modern day players, they might need a bit of an arm around their shoulder. He might be someone, because of his age, that might be able to relate to some of the, not a player like Kobbie Mainoo, but some of the more senior players. They might be able to seep down into the leadership circles and all of that stuff. I think when you're hiring a manager, yeah, you have to look at what they do on the pitch. Yeah, you have to look at the players they want to buy and all of this stuff. But behind the scenes, and I think it gets spoken about a bit, but I don't think enough importance is placed on it. I think when it comes to being able to bond with your players, I think when it comes to being able to handle the pressures of online stuff, like, I don't know if he has social media. I don't really care if he has social media, but if he does, I think he'll be able to deal with that a little bit better. I think being able to just relate to the environment that you're in, being able to relate to essentially the main members of staff, the players, on a more human, on a more not business type relationship. It might be more of a friendship / business type relationship that you get with someone like McKenna. I don't know. It gives me a bit of optimism that we might be able to get someone with the type of a squad that we have that might be able to just get everybody on his side. And I think that's the most important thing at Manchester United, because yes, we've had the Mourinho, Ten Hag, Solskjaer, Ranić, but at some point in all of their managerial reigns at Manchester United, it just seems like they lost the dressing room a little bit. It just seems like some of the players were turning against them, and they all have one thing in common: they're all old. I think Ten Hag being the youngest one, they all have age on their side, and I think this could bite me in the ass because I have no idea how old McKenna is, but I feel like with someone younger there, they might be able to just get inside and on a more in-tune level with these players. It fills me with optimism. Of course, the football he plays is brilliant as well. He's taken Ipswich from League One to the Premier League first time, and I think that can't go unnoticed. Yes, you could compare him directly to Vincent Kompany. He went to Burnley, of course, got them promoted, absolutely stormed the league, but then didn't do anything in the Premier League. That could happen to Kieran McKenna if he becomes Manchester United manager. I think those are the risks that you have to take. We've tried and we've been there with the Mourinho, Van Gaal, a bit with Ralph Ranić and with Erik ten Hag. We've tried the winners, and it just hasn't worked the way we wanted it to work. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you had someone there who hadn't been at a job like that. He's obviously had experience in the Premier League before. He got relegated with Cardiff, and he was the manager of Molde when we signed him. But that was someone there who was seen as young, relatively inexperienced, and someone that could almost build something. Didn't work out, he got sacked. But there were promising signs. Obviously, the way we started, the Champions League run, the Premier League away record, the amount of goals we were scoring. Yes, on one side it was very good, it was enjoyable, it was exciting. Like you'd wake up on a Saturday thinking, oh yeah, we're Manchester United playing today. It wouldn't be, oh, Manchester United playing today. That's what Solskjaer got me back to personally. But then on the other side, As high as you could get equally as low. Sometimes it was painful to watch. Painful to watch. And there was reasons for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get sacked. And he did. And I think at the time it was the right decision. But I think still at that time, it was a bit hasty. It's not always going to be an upward trajectory like that. Not every club is Manchester City. Not every club has 115 charges. What it could be is up and then a bit down. It might go down a bit more than you want it, but you don't know. It could go right back up by the dip. And I don't think that's what... I think that's what we didn't do with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think we're doing the same with Erik ten Hag. But even if we are going to get rid of Erik ten Hag, getting someone like McKenna in to kick off the Ineos infusion, and I'm kind of don't make him the face of Ineos, but he's going to be the face of this whole new Manchester United project. Manchester United boyhood fan. He's just worked wonders with Ipswich, so he probably would be coming in with a bit of a reputation. Oh, the new kid on the block. He's young. Let's imagine he did a Sir Alex Ferguson. He's of that type of age where something like that could happen. You have the potential for a very, very good manager. I think it'd be exciting for the fans. He'd be a bit of an unknown quantity, especially in the Premier League, because he hasn't been the sole manager in the Premier League. Let's not forget, he does have Premier League experience. Of course, assisting Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think it would be a risk, but I think it would be a risk worth taking. And for that reason, I think we definitely have to go ahead with the buyout clause for Ipswich. Kieran McKenna's buyout clause at Ipswich Town is less than 5 million. Match that with Manchester United would have to pay Erik ten Hag around 6.75 million in compensation if they sack him. If he departs by mutual agreement, the compensation will be less. Look, let's just go with the worst case scenario here, 6.75 million to sack Ten Hag. Then you'd only have to pay 5 million or around that for Kieran McKenna. For a manager that Ineos want in Kieran McKenna, only technically having to spend a net of 1.75 million-ish, I don't think is that bad. And I think that might be a good investment, especially if we're tight on money. That's what I was meant to say. I don't know why I just went blank, but sorry. I saw a couple of days ago that apparently our budget is only 35 million. I don't believe that's true, but if it is true, getting rid of Ten Hag and only having to really spend 1.75 million on a new manager might be the best thing to do, because we need to penny pinch. I know we have been getting at Manchester United for having to penny pinch over the years, but if we only really do have 35 million cash to spend in the summer, then we are definitely going to need to be penny pinching. But I don't know. It's scary, but I'm excited at the same time. Now, moving on to something a bit more exciting, the FA Cup final tomorrow against Manchester City. Samuel Lockhurst is reporting that Anthony Martial was not with the Manchester United squad on the way to London. To be perfectly honest, I didn't really expect to see him. He didn't come on the pitch the other day. In fact, I didn't expect to see him. Of course, I'd want to see him before he leaves Manchester United, because during his time here, he has been one of my favourite players, and it is kind of sad to see him leave. But you know, he just hasn't fulfilled what he was meant to do at the club, and you know, when he does leave, I think he can go on and prove his worth somewhere else. But the travelling squad for the FA Cup final, going to read it out here for you guys, is Onana, Altair Bayende, Tom Heaton, Diogo Dalot, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Johnny Evans, Willy Cambuala, Victor Lindelof, Casemiro, Mainu, Christian Eriksen, Scott McTominay, Sofiane Amrabat, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad, Anthony, Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund. And unless I'm missing something crazy out here, I can't see a surprise absentee from that list. Of course, Shaw's going to still be injured. I think, look, I'm not saying we're going to win, but I'm going in with some confidence. We have a lot of players back from injury who are available to play tomorrow. I do expect Alessandro Martinez to start because he has been playing recently. He hasn't. I don't think he's completed the full 90 since he came back from injury. But listen, he has to be in from the start tomorrow. I don't know about Varane's fitness and whether he's able to start tomorrow, but we do have Willy Campoala there. I know he hasn't been playing recently, but when you've got people like Haaland, or when you've got a player like Haaland, I think having someone who's able, he might not be able to keep up with him, say, but someone who's physically able to match or get as close to him as possible, I think he'd be better at the back than someone like Johnny Evans, who isn't there anymore in terms of his mobility. Basically, that's what I'm saying. But listen, let me know in the comment section down below your predictions for the FA Cup final tomorrow, and if you think Kieran McKenna is worth the risk. Do you think we should be going for Kieran McKenna, since apparently Ten Hag will be getting sacked at the end of the season? Make sure you do leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you follow at mufcMPB over on X, as well as myself and the other presenters. All of our links will be in the description down below. Remember as well, make sure you let me know in the comment section, do you think Kieran McKenna is worth the risk, and your score predictions for the FA Cup final tomorrow. You know what, I'm going to be optimistic, half glass full type of guy. We've got a few players back. There's a lot of excitement around Manchester United at the moment. You know, we've got players playing well. And of course, actually, before I forget, Bruno Fernandes. I read that. I'm not obviously speaking to Bruno Fernandes, but the tribunal that Bruno Fernandes released, if you haven't, make sure you go and read it. It was a very good read. He's up for it. He needs to make sure everybody else is up for it. I'm definitely up for it, and I hope you guys are too. I'll see you guys later, and come on, Manchester United, we have to win.